You know, the reason why Joe Biden is president is because of Black women. It is because of our votes, but it's also because of our work, it's because of our strategy, and it's because of our sacrifice.
LaTosha Brown is synonymous with the modern-day voting rights movement.
I remember being in church, hear my grandmother sing, "Well, the first thing I did right was the day I started to fight."
Born in Selma, Alabama, Brown went on to launch Black Voters Matter. Her work as an organizer and political strategist is largely credited with handing the presidency to Joe Biden and the Senate to Democrats. But as bills in states across the country pile up to suppress Black votes, and national voting rights legislation stalls in the Senate in part because of Democrats, Brown is one of many Black women still fighting for these fundamental rights.
Running for office is about telling people what's possible, and I'm running on possibility.
Even when they get little in return. Because before there were headlines and Harris, there were centuries of Black women fighting to secure the right to vote.
I knew that I wanted to be a part of that legacy.
People's voices have been silenced.
Black women are one of the most active voter blocs in America, in part due to early abolitionists and suffragists like Sojourner Truth, Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, and Mary Church Terrell, the daughter of a former slave who helped found the National Association of Colored Women in 1896. She saw the passage of the 15th Amendment giving Black men access to vote and helped usher in the 19th Amendment giving women access to vote. But both did little to change circumstances for Black women. Take Ida B. Wells, a journalist and founding member of the NAACP, who was told she couldn't march with the white women at the 1913 Women's Suffrage March.
So my great-grandmother made history among all the other things that she did by refusing to comply with that.
Black women were often boxed out of suffrage movements, which is why we may not be familiar with lead voting rights activists like Fannie Lou Hamer or Septima Clark. And we might not know that Rosa Parks was a voting rights activist years before the moment on the bus.
I had had enough, and this was truly the end of being pushed around.
The era of Jim Crow that mandated segregated buses also mandated laws like literacy tests and poll taxes at the ballots. Women like Amelia Boynton Robinson in Alabama, who were highly educated and passed poll tests, spent the rest of their lives advocating for civil rights. Robinson became the first Black woman to run for Congress from Alabama even a year before the 1965 Voting Rights Act, which ensured Black women's access to the ballot on a national level. 45 years after the 19th Amendment. Today, we have a record number of Black women in Congress, but few in statewide offices where voter suppression laws are thriving.
And we've never elected a Black woman governor.
So while it often feels like we're taking steps back, it's so important to remember who got us this far and what's still on the line.
When we look at where there has been major shifts and change for progress in this nation, it has always been when there's been a committed few that were relentless. And I believe if we continue to build on that, that there's no way that we won't win, because when we work together, we win.